Hello moonmates, this is the second video tutorial and I'm going to be making moons using two techniques. One will be arashi shibori and the second technique will be itajime, or the clamp technique, and they'll be combined to create a particular style of moon that I do. I hope you're all well out there today and still staying safer at home and getting all the supplies that you do need to run your daily life. We're fine here, and we just came back from delivering some groceries to some people who are housebound, and that's kind of a nice thing to be able to do. Thank you for all of your subscription, donation, orders since the last video. I tried to write back to all of you. There were a couple whose emails through PayPal bounced, so if you're one of those people, I'm sorry I couldn't reply to you, but thank you. We do this all the time in the workshops that I give, but generally on silk, and it comes out really different on this cotton, which is fairly tight weave and much heavier than the silk that we do it on. So in this case, you could hand wrap this. I have this little handy dandy pole wrapper spinner thing that I built, actually based on one that I saw in Karen Brito's book, Shibori. And I have a pole on here, and I've got some string, fine string, and I'm going to start by tying it around one end here to secure it. And I'm going to just overwrap the end real quick so I can pull on this without it spinning. I have a rubber band down here on the end of the pole, and that's mainly just to hold the end of this cloth together so that I can let it loose while I'm working with the other end of it. And I will start over here. This is actually, this table's a little higher than I normally work on, so it feels a little strange. But what I'm going to do is just haphazardly tuck and wrap over the fabric. So there's really no rhyme or reason to it. You can't do it wrong. You don't necessarily need a pole wrapper like I've got here to do it. It does make it a little simpler, but you could do this by hand if you needed to. And if you're just doing a small piece, that's just fine. So I'm going to show you what this looks like before I push it up by bringing it up closer to the camera. So you can see that I've just pushed it in there very chaotically. You might want to get about halfway up here before you push it to gather it. Now this cloth, I don't generally put too many layers onto the pole because it's pretty heavier, or it's much thicker than the silk that I normally do this with. But as you work your way down the length of this cloth, you get to a certain point, and I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to put it on the ground. I'm going to push the fabric. There we go. And you can see I've pushed it all up. Oh, there go the dogs. Bark bomb my video. Dogs started going crazy because there was somebody walking their dog outside, They think it's their job to announce every dog walker on the block. All right, so I'm getting closer to the end here. Once I have this all on here and pushed up, then I will just send it into the indigo vat. Now this is going to take 3 or 4 dips into the indigo vat to get it to where I want it. Okay, so I'm going to just, now I'm going to push the fabric. So here we go. You can see it's all gathered up there. And I shall cut the thread, and I'm going to tie it on there just with a square knot, and that'll hold it on there while I dye it. Okay, now I've got my indigo vat right here, just like I did before. I'm going to put it down in there. Let me move this out of the way. I've got my long gloves on, which are really good in this case because I can reach down in here and just kind of massage the fabric and coax the indigo into this cloth. So again, probably about 3 minutes here, 3 or 4 minutes. And then I'll take it out and oxidize it and do it about 3 more times. It's the next morning and this has been dipped 3 times and oxidized, and I'm going to cut it off the pole right now. I have myself a little seam ripper, and on this, since the strings are exposed here, I'm just going to slice them off. And you can see the back side that was against the pole and then the front side. And I can pull all of these strings out of here. It's still slightly damp, even though it sat overnight here. So here's the cloth. Yeah, so now I'm going to take this and cut it into smaller pieces, and then I will clamp the moons over it and re-dye them. I know you're familiar with this view, and it's going to be a common view over the course of this. So the first thing, I've got 2 size squares that I'm going to do. One I'm going to use this larger circle with, and on this one I'm going to use this smaller one. I've had an uptick in orders from people on the moons card sets, so I need to make more moons for the set, the card sets as well as the moon sets. But first, what do? I've got to wet these out. Into the water they go. Like before, I'm going to make my moon sandwich here with the fabric in between a pair of identical shapes. And I'm going to take my clamps and tighten them down around the edge of this. So this is tight evenly all the way around, and it's time for the indigo bath. My glove on.